Dickens, never one to mince words. Oh, Bent's Nation, I didn't see you there. Come in. Sorry, I've been so busy as of late studying up on the goings-on in the art world and other things of that culture and such, you know. Barely had time to make YouTube videos. Skibbity toilet. How childish. No. I'm much more focused on more intellectual pastimes, such as analysis and inquiry. Which is why today, I'd like to broaden all of your horizons too, and talk about the art world. But not just a movement or a group of artists. No, I just want to talk about one artist. Some would say the artist. Greg Lansky. Now, if you don't know who Greg is, you're probably familiar with his work. And I don't mean his artwork. No, we'll get to his artwork. I mean his adult films. He has directed a lot of porn. But Greg isn't just any porn director, okay? No, he's the most successful porn director of the last 15 years. He's sort of like the Stanley Kubrick of porn. Wait, excuse me. You probably don't know who that is. The Joss Whedon of porn. I mean, who could forget such classics as Interracial Icon 9, Interracial Icon Volume 5, of course, goes without saying, Interracial Icon Volume 3, and fresh out of high school. I mean, look at all these trophies, this guy's a beast. According to Greg, he's wanted to be in the adult films industry since the time he was 13, making him the least horny Frenchman. In 2005, Greg left his hometown of Paris and came all the way to LA to pursue a career in the adult films industry. After spending years working his way up the ladder at the esteemed institution of reality kings, Greg finally mustered up enough capital to start his own production company, Vixen Media Group, which would go on to house the insanely popular websites Vixen, Tushy, and Blacked. And these weren't your run-of-the-mill churn and burn pornos, as Greg likes to call them. No, these videos were art. It is art because you make someone feel something. Greg Lansky, 2021 probably. And like, okay, I see where Greg's coming from, but couldn't you use that definition for a lot of things? Like a cigarette. Is a cigarette art because it makes you feel something? Yes. But even though Greg had conquered the porn world, won every caked up trophy, made millions of dollars, Greg wasn't satisfied. No, a Sigma never sleeps. He hungered for more. In 2020, Greg decided to sell Vixen Media Group and move into a new chapter of his life, making art. Even though that's what he said he was doing before with his porn. And today, I want to talk about his art because it's pretty funny. So this first piece is called No End in Sight. Get back here. Good. Which, as you can see, is a giant peace sign, roughly 2.5 Gregs high by my estimation, made out of hundreds of fake pistols. Greg writes, "When I created this sculpture, I was reflecting on the endless cycle of violence that humanity is stuck in, and the power that symbols have over people." Ugh, I too often reflect on symbols, Gregory. You and I might not be so different. So Greg says that this sculpture's message is about like violence and the never-ending cycle of violence within humans and human nature and stuff like that, but nothing about this sculpture really makes me feel any of those exact emotions. What it really makes me think about is how this looks like something you would find on a Redbubble shirt. You know what I'm talking about, right? I found the shirt. Or how it'd be like a bumper sticker on the back of like an English teacher's car. I found the sticker. Or alternatively, the gym teacher's car, depending on how you like to interpret the giant peace sign made of guns. I found the other sticker. Or that it's just something he wanted to make because he thought it looked cool, which, you know, is fine, but at least own it. Like the fact that he's taking it this seriously when this whole trope of weapons plus love or peace plus weapons, like it's been done to death at this point, and the fact that he's taking it so seriously as if it's like the most original thing ever created, like he's like staring up at it all like pensively and like ah yes, my magnum opus. It's like really? I think what adds to this level of unseriousness is the fact that he makes like a Sigma edit to go along with almost every single piece of art he's made. Like, Greg obviously has a talent for this kind of thing. Like, he should stick to this. Greg also says that this sculpture is a self-portrait, which makes way more sense than any of that other shit he was talking about in his Instagram caption. This next piece is from Greg's Your Next series and is called The Power is in Your Hands. And as you can see, it is an axe with the Twitter logo. I mean, okay, a Twitter axe by itself, just like totally in isolation, is already very corny. That's just like an inherently corny thing to create. But if this shit is about cancel culture, I am going to lose my mind. Axes have been used as a tool to decapitate traitors not aligned with the dominant ideals of the time for many years. The mob loved it and actively encouraged it. Twitter is also a battlefield, and the axe embodies this ancient and primal warfare spirit with a thirst for blood that humans have inherited. So correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm pretty sure Greg is getting at is that getting banned off of Twitter or getting canceled is sort of like the modern day equivalent of getting beheaded during the French Revolution, which would be dumb if that's what he's saying. Or he's just saying that Twitter is a place full of miserable people that sort of like to dogpile on other people and be mean to other people for no reason, which, yeah, that's sort of what Twitter's known for. It's also pretty funny that he decided to make like his grand statement about Twitter like only a year before they changed their name and logo forever. That's a Greg classic right there. He also made a Sigma edit for this one too, so we gotta watch that, of course. This fucking, it's time to go own the libs walk that he does with like the axe on his back, like in slow motion. It's so hard. That's a trained, like he got a few takes of that for sure. I don't know Greg's politics and they don't matter at all, but you can't tell me this is not a fucking, I'm about to go own the libs. Like that's what that walk is. I'm sure you've also noticed that Greg isn't exactly running a mom and pop operation over here. He's not like DIYing Twitter axes in his backyard. No, he's got whole teams of people around him 24/7. You know, pointing at blueprints, moving heavy machinery, pouring lava into things as he watches from a safe distance, which can only mean one thing, that Greg doesn't make his own art? No! So Greg is one of those artist guys who like hires whole teams of people to create his art for him, which if you don't know is kind of a common thing in the art world. There are massive artists like Damien Hirst and Jeff Koons who haven't had a hand in making any of their artwork in like years. Here, this is a good quote to show what I mean. While there are over 1,400 of these works in existence, it is claimed that Hirst only painted around 25 of them himself, with the remaining being completed by his team of assistants. In reference to like the polka dot paintings he makes, you've definitely seen them before. And to Greg's credit, he doesn't try to hide this, and neither do those other guys. I just think it's kind of bullshit, especially when the concept you're calling your own has been done by hundreds of other people before you. It was also very funny to find out that before Greg like wiped his entire Instagram to become a very serious artist, he was basically a Dan Bilzerian knockoff account. It's honestly so hard to find anything from Greg's old Instagram. I would have included more of it, but the only record of it I found is from this Chinese YouTuber who just exclusively makes content about porn.
甚至还会把一些英文片名直接转成中文。
Now, moving on to Greg's next piece, and arguably my favorite of Greg's, Still Lost, Still Scared. Now, the Instagram caption for this one is long as hell, so I'm just going to do my best to try and summarize what Greg was getting at. He's basically saying that back when he was like killing it in his porn days and making millions of dollars, he would spend all of his money on, you know, watches, big golden fucking couches, fucking drippy ass Gucci jackets, shit like that. But after getting all of the stuff he always wanted, he only just felt more alone. So he related this to a Bible story where this village made a calf out of all the gold they had because Moses had left them. Like he went up a mountain to find God and left them there, so they didn't have anybody to worship. You can actually tell I know a lot about this and didn't just watch like a 10-minute explained video.
Then Moses said to Aaron, "What did this people do to you that you have brought such great sin upon them?"
And then God got like really mad at them because they're not supposed to worship false idols, which is like facts. So that's why it's like a half man, half cow, because I guess like the cow is representing back then, but the man is representing now. And the supreme shirt is representing the endless cycle of drip that is in human nature. Now, this one isn't my favorite because I think it's really that much better than any of Greg's other stuff. It just is like another shallow critique on a societal issue, this time consumerism. But I like it because I see a lot of myself in this malnourished calf. Like he just seems dope and mad chill, and I get a lot out of that from a piece of art. He also has like weak and feeble legs that can hardly support his own body weight, which like that's like totally me as well. Okay, we're moving on. Get a load of this next one. Okay, this one's actually my favorite. I changed my mind. Now, a lot of people might think this is just some generic, phone bad, boomer type art, but if you're a real Greg head, you know this is a reference to one of his earliest works. Getting cyberbullied is like getting stoned to death. Isn't it fucked up how phones make people mean and cancel culture's all fucked up? And also, these represent the 7 deadly sins somehow. I am very serious. Any art that's just like phone bad, social media bad, it's so good. It's sort of like if one of those Facebook boomer comic artists was given $1 million to create their next piece. Not much else to say about this one, just another Greg classic. Now, moving on to Greg's final work, and some would say his magnum opus, Big Honker's Venus de Milo. So if you have heard of Greg, it was actually probably because of this piece, because it kind of went viral last year on social media, and mainly because people hated it. Here's what Greg has to say about algorithmic beauty.
How much pain would you take to feel loved? I created this work reflecting on the relationship between pain and feeling love in a world driven by AI algorithms. The marks from plastic surgery are displayed with grace and dignity, like the battle scars of an endless war no one can win. Today, it's AI algorithms that have godlike power over humanity and all of us. They influence beauty standards with irresistible promise that those who follow the closest will be rewarded by digital engagement disguised as love.
AI algorithm. Isn't it so fucked up that we live in a society where women have to augment their body to meet unrealistic beauty standards created by Instagram? You did this, Instagram and iPhones. It was you. I profited millions of dollars off of furthering these beauty standards in society through my porn empire. Check me out riding this bulldozer so I can find the perfect block of marble for my robot arm to cut. I actually don't think the message Greg is trying to convey is totally terrible. Like, there's definitely a point to be made about how social media has raised beauty standards to this insane, unattainable level, but all of that just gets thrown out the window when you remember that Greg literally spent most of his life profiting off of and enforcing these exact beauty standards. Not to mention that just like some fucking guy being like, I'm gonna create the Venus de Milo too, but this time with a dump truck ass. Like, it's pretty funny, man. And the other thing that makes this statue even harder to take seriously is the fact that apparently, according to Twitter, okay, I'm being honest, according to Twitter, the scars that he gave the statue, or sorry, his 3D modeler gave the statue, are not even the correct types of scars. Which, to fucking put all this effort into a statue and have the scars not even be correct, I really hope that's true, because that would be so funny. If there are any plastic surgeons watching, let me know in the comments if this is true at all. But that's algorithmic beauty, aka Big Honker's Venus de Milo. I don't even think I can give this one a Greg classic. This is a Greg masterpiece. And sadly, that's all of Greg's artwork for now. He hasn't posted anything on social media since May, but in an article I found from earlier this year, he said that he was going to make his return to art in September. And would you look at that? It's October. As usual, this video took a little longer to make than I was expecting, so sadly, no Lansky updates. I'm still checking every day, but nothing as of yet. But that's the video, Bents Nation. Thank you for watching. If you have your own feelings or thoughts on Greg's work, let me know in the comments. Like I said, if you're a plastic surgeon, let me know about the scar thing, because that would be very funny. But that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.